Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of the Senators News and Rumors. I'm your host Jacob Billington, joined with Dayton Reimer as always. How you doing, Dayton?
Hey, not doing too bad. We are out of the deep freeze in Saskatoon here. I know we were sharing all of our temperatures on the Slack channels. Yeah, I couldn't beat Winnipeg, but I mean nobody can. That's
What was
that's
it,
too
hitting
cold out
minus
there.
50 there? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, we got down to like minus 35, which I thought was cold enough. But we're not that cold anymore, which is nice. How are you
We were
doing with
getting close to
the
that, but
snow out
now we
there?
got. What was that, sorry?
How are you doing with the snow out there?
I don't want to look outside. I don't know. I've been cooped up in the house, everything's canceled today, all the stores are closed. I've got no reason to go outside, I'll just wait until it's all done and get it plowed out, so. But they're calling for, at this point, I think 40, 45 centimeters. So,
Oof,
not great.
that's a lot.
All right, let's get into the Ottawa Senators. So, I mean, strangely enough, they come out of it felt like a sure loss against the Vegas Golden Knights, and they put 7 goals up. Would have been nice to see that the night before on Jacques Martin night. Give him some love on the score sheet, but the Senators are in a weird spot. It's time to hit the panic button, time to give up, but also that game against Vegas, everything else that they've done this season, it's starting to feel like they could stay in the race. I don't know. In an attempt to do that, Travis Green announced that Mike Yeo would be taking over the penalty kill from Nolan Baumgartner. Nolan Baumgartner did not do well on the penalty kill with the diamond formation. It was the same thing in Vancouver when Travis Green was head coach there. Nolan Baumgartner was doing the same thing in Vancouver. Penalty kill wasn't good. He was the defensive coach covering the PK. So now we got Mike Yeo. I don't know if Mike Yeo screams defensive coach to me. He was head coach for Minnesota, St. Louis, and he's been around forever, since most of my life at least. Do you think that this is gonna have a big enough change? Like, do you think this could solve a problem that the Ottawa Senators have with their penalty kill? Like, it's losing them games.
I think if they're at the point where they have to do something, I think this is a great first step, changing who's in charge. I'm glad that Green made those changes. That he had a guy that he relied on in Vancouver. Now he's given that guy notice, essentially, right? We're gonna put you in somewhere else, and we're gonna give that job to someone who we think can do a better job. I know Minnesota has had great defensive teams in the past. I don't know if that's Yo's creation, but yeah, I don't know. Can it save the season? Probably not, but it's at least something. And I think it's addressing the issues that are at play, which is not the players on the ice. It's stuff that's happening off the ice. That's where the issues have to lie, because everything else has been tried, right?
Yeah, the players are playing fine. Like, every analytic says the Ottawa Senators should be winning a ton of hockey games. They just can't. They're just incapable. So, I don't know what tweak it's going to have to be to get the Senators winning more hockey games. I mean, that's why I was always against hiring Daniel Alfredson on the bench. Are you going to fire the guy? Like, the power play hasn't been great. I'm not advocating for Alfredson to get fired at all, but how can you hold him accountable on the power play? He is the god of the organization. How can you hold him accountable? I didn't like that. But with Mike Yeo and Nolan Baumgartner, like you said, it's good that even with such a long history, obviously they're close, he can still make those changes, and he's not afraid to be like, oh, but he's my buddy, I don't want to hurt his feelings, whatever. So good on Travis Green for that. In the crease, the other area of problem for the Ottawa Senators, we do have some positive news with Linus Ullmark returning. He was on the bench last night. I thought that was kind of weird. I didn't understand the decision to start Sogaard. If Ullmark is on the bench, he is ready to play. He should have started that game, I think. But I'm glad that Sogaard got the chance, because, boy, was I proven wrong. He 4 minutes left, he allowed a goal to break the shutout, but he was phenomenal in that 7-1 win against Vegas. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, fantastic. That's what we need to see from the Senators goalies. That's what we hoped Sogaard would be, right? A guy who could turn away however many shots that was. I don't have it off the top of my head. Let's see. But just giving that stability in the crease. The Senators haven't had trouble finding talented goalies. I don't think that's the problem. They just have trouble finding results from those goalies. And more specifically, they've had trouble finding consistent results. There's no reason to have questioned a combo of Ullmark and Merilainen heading into the season. They had the history of results. They know how to get results, and somehow it completely fell apart. And that's been the story for, well, since Anderson left, right? At least 6 years, probably longer, because Anderson was kind of the only guy who broke that trend, even going before him. So, yeah, like, Sogaard was great. Happy for Sogaard. I just hope that they can keep this going. And I don't mind the decision to start him over Ullmark. Like, we don't need to throw him back to the Wolves. He's easing his way in. Sure, he's ready to play, but is he ready to play, right?
Right,
Like,
and I do get that, but I don't know. If you're going to be on the bench, you have to be mentally ready to play. And so, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, good on Sogaard. It was 20 saves that he made. And it's just, after being replaced by Merilainen against Colorado in the 8-2 loss, I thought there was no chance you could put Matt Sogaard back in the crease. Like, under no circumstance. I'm really, really glad that I was proven wrong. But, like, we are talking about a goalie. Is he 20, 23, 24?
Around there, yeah.
He's been waived. He was put on waivers at the beginning of this season. He would have to be waived now, I believe. I believe it's been long enough since he was last waived that to get sent down. He has to put back on waivers. And then he got shelled in the second period against the Avalanche. And, like, after coming in for Merilainen, then he got pulled again. Like, that's bad. Mm-hmm. I thought that it was awful. In the intermission, Bruce Garriock said that he believes that there's no future between Sogaard and the Senators. They've given up. And then he puts on that kind of show. Like, is this the big gotcha moment that Sogaard's been waiting for? Because he's been right there for like 3 years now. Like, he's always been so close to getting an NHL spot. He just hasn't been able to go over that hump. He hasn't been able to stay healthy enough. Is this the chance? Could we see Sogaard bouncing back as a top-end prospect, or is that too big of an overreaction to one game?
So, I don't think... Like, I think it's maybe a bit of an overreaction, but I don't think it's unjustified. We just need to see more consistency from Sogaard. And like you mentioned it earlier, injuries have been a massive issue. He only played 10 games last year across all leagues, I should say. He was at the, I can see that, on the Denmark Olympic game qualifiers. He was on the team, didn't play though. That is not good for a young goalie. Like, goalies need to play. I recently wrote a piece about Merilainen. He needs to play. You can't just have him there and then, throw him in the game when they need him every, 12, 13 games. Like, that's a way that you're going to get ruined. When he came in previously, he was playing consistently in the AHL. And so he had that rhythm, he had that experience, and then he could jump into the NHL, and he was good to go, and we saw what his ceiling was. Maybe not his ceiling, but we saw his potential. Maybe that's better to say. I think we're seeing now that from Sogaard. Sogaard has been playing more consistently in Belleville. He came up and got that start, he got that rhythm, and we saw somebody who was showing off his potential. We need to see that again, maybe 4 or 5 more times this season before it's like, okay, we can return him to a top prospect status. He might never get there. I think he'll probably end up a career backup goalie at this point. If he can find his game, he is 25 years old, but goalies are weird. They need more time. They need more games. You can't rush their development. And so you have to be patient with them. I still think Gary Ock's probably still correct. I don't think he's a Senator next year, which is unfortunate because he's been, like you said, so close for so long, and it's never come together. And at some point, you have to cut ties, which is I don't wish that on anybody. I think it would be good to keep him around, but this is just the way I'm seeing it progress.
Yeah, and if you're Sogaard, it's become pretty clear that you're not climbing the ranks in this organization. Why would you want to resign? Go get a chance somewhere else. But I mean, I do still have a bit of faith that he can become an NHL goaltender regularly. So speaking of other high-end goalie prospects, Merilainen, you said that he needs to be playing hockey, and he's been doing just that. He started, I think it was 11 or 12 games in a row in Ottawa, and now in the AHL, he's got 5 games in a row. He's playing a ton. In the AHL, he's got a 4-1-0 record and a .927 save percentage. That's exactly what we needed to see from Merilainen. So if this play kind of keeps up, obviously .927 is hard to maintain, but let's say he stays in the 920s and keeps playing very, very well. How long do you keep him down there?
How long? Well, I think they have a little bit of a luxury right now. They can move Sogaard and Merilainen back and forth a little bit. I know Sogaard still has to go through waivers. But if you need to call up a guy for a second and then send him back down, he's not making a ton of money. So that you can squeeze him into the cap. They should have room for a couple of games. Yeah, I don't think there's a rush to bring him back up. Let him get that rhythm back in the minors. But yeah, he should be back up this season. That was always the plan, and I don't think you need to deviate from that plan greatly just because he had a bad stretch when the team was performing poorly. Yes, goaltending has been an issue. You cannot put this all on goaltending. There was so many issues happening. There's always been so many issues happening. It's not the goalie's fault.
Yeah. See, I'm actually on the complete opposite side of things than you. I don't want to see him back in the NHL this season. Unless it's right down the stretch. He's obviously been good. But not until the last 10 games of the season at that point. I don't know. I think that he needs to get some confidence back. I like what Jake Sanderson said about him. I like that he called the goalie out. Somebody had to show some passion on the team. It's just unfortunate that it was Levy on the receiving end of those comments. Probably didn't feel great, but he's a professional. Right now, he's just got to get his confidence back up, and I think finishing the season in the AHL, if he's going to be playing this dominant, I think that's the best thing for him.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I didn't like what Sanderson had to say. I think that was... I don't think that was passion. I think that was kicking a guy while he was down. I liked what Brady had to say, where it's we're a team. We screwed up. This is on us. Yeah, sure, Merilainen hasn't been great, but you can't pin the blame all on him. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's essentially what their captain said, and that's what the captain should be saying. And, of course, Sanderson came out and apologized for being as blunt as he was. You have to stick together as a team, and when you start seeing those fractures, you start seeing a team lose consistently. You see one that cannot work together. And I think we've seen that with several teams. We saw that with Vancouver. They could not get out of their own way until they had to start trading players. And they had to trade some of their best players. Thankfully, it looks like they've maybe addressed an issue. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that's still an ongoing mess. Anyways, yeah, I want to see a bit more of everyone's got each other's back and not resort to infighting. It seems like they're not there yet and are, not anywhere close, really. But it's a thing to, I think, keep aware.
Yeah, I should be clear, I don't like the comments on their own, but the fact that he did apologize, that made it okay to me. I think it was something that kind of had to be said by somebody. But it's good that he also recognized that, like, that was kind of mean. So, I don't know. Fair balance, I think, now that you throw the apology in. But you mentioned the captain. I want to get your thoughts on his play as of late. Some people not so happy. Some people are pointing out that him, Cousins, and Greg have been an unbelievable line together. Where do you sit? Do you think, like, are you concerned about his play? He seemed invisible at times. Is that just the hand? If so, why is he playing? What are your thoughts?
Man, I'm having a tough read on Brady right now. He, like you said, sometimes he is exactly the captain that you expect. Against Vegas, he had 3 assists. That's great. That's the kind of production that I'm expecting. He's, scoring goals even when the team is not scoring goals. He scored one against Nashville in that 5-3 loss. He scored against Columbus in the 4-1 win. He's producing. That's good. But then there are those games where he is absolutely invisible. And if it is his hand that is hurting, well, to maybe use a bit of an analogy here, you and I are both teachers when we're not writing. And there was a big shift after the pandemic when teachers were really encouraged to just stay home if they're sick. Like, you don't need to keep pushing through some cold that you've been, nursing for 3 weeks. Just stay home, recover. Yeah, you got to write a sub plan, but whatever, just do it. And now I've seen teachers take those days where they weren't taking them before. Like, you don't have to power through. And I think Brady maybe needs to take a little bit of that lesson. Like, you don't need to power through if you are feeling terrible. No one's going to hold you accountable for that or, like, criticize you just because, your hand hurt. Oh, no, yeah, he broke his hand. That takes forever to heal. Yeah. So take a day. It's not going to hurt anything. And then come back ready to go.
And I think teams are scared, taking things on a game-by-game basis. Maybe today his hand is feeling great. And this isn't just about Brady, this part of this conversation for me. Maybe today your hand is feeling great. You're going to play, you're going to score a hat trick. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and it's going to be really sore. Maybe we don't play on the back-to-back. I think NHL teams are scared to be accused of game management like the NBA does. Or player management, I guess. They don't want to be accused of that. Hockey players are the tough guys. We don't need to do that. That hasn't found its way into hockey culture yet, at least outside of the last 2 weeks of the season, I'll say. I think that it would make sense if it was like, okay, Brady's hand is just, the joints are a little sore today, or the finger is a little sore, whatever it is. He's just not going to play tonight. So he was fine last night. Today, maybe not. Woke up and it was inflamed, whatever. I think teams need to be not scared to do that.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I don't think there is an issue of falling to the NBA standards of game management, because that's, like, you're almost getting into cap shenanigans with how much they're, like, playing and not playing some guys. I think the one that I'm thinking of is Kawhi Leonard. Was that with... Oh,
I don't know anything about basketball.
Yeah, I know about 7 names.
Yeah.
And one of them is Kawhi Leonard, who is in the news for game management and, like, earning
Fair
money
enough.
outside of the court.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, the details have been lost to me now, but there was those issues that was basically like, oh, Nikita Kucherov is not playing until the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That shouldn't be allowed. Oh, suddenly, I don't know. Anyways, I don't think the NHL has to worry about that. Definitely taking some time to heal. Treating a day-to-day injury as like, okay, you can be here today and not there tomorrow. It's fine. Take that time to recover, because you're going to recover better. Like, patience is a great key.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up this episode. I mean, there's definitely some some reason to be concerned about Brady, but he also has shown that like he does still have it. Like he's not just given up on the season or anything like that. So overall, I'm not concerned about Brady. He'll do what he has to do to get back to what he needs to be. So if you made it this far into the episode and you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode of the Senators News and Rumors. Thank you.